Hi, I'm Dan Whittaker. I'm here today to talk to you about the turning point in the backswing. Now, this is an area in the back that is a fixed point, that is somewhere that you never move off in a great golf swing, that you never move off it until way after impact in the great golf swings that we see. Now, we often see a fluctuation in this moving point, and this can be exhibited with some players who then have to manipulate the club a little bit at impact in order to square the face. Now, the turning point is a grape-sized area back here, so it's right at the base of the neck and toward the top of the spine. And when we have a look at it from a roof mount camera,
you can see here with Chris, this is the turning point highlighted with the little yellow mark, and we'll notice how the left shoulder stretches across in this direction as the right shoulder moves back, meaning that the hips will then just turn inside their own little barrel, with the right hip turning and the left hip turning. So we take this to the top of the backswing, and we can see how Chris stays on that turning point.
You see there highlighted from the roof mount camera, the turning point. Now we saw there with a golfer who turned back, who stayed on that turning point. Now, we're going to bring in another player. This lad's a professional, and we'll see how he tends to move off the turning point during the backswing and moves back towards the target. So we tend to see some players who move towards the target this way in the backswing, so then they have to back out or back away from the target on the way through. And we'll see with this lad how his hands will be in front here.
You can see here with Liam how this turning point slightly moves towards the target in the backswing here. So now we'll notice how he slightly backs out of it to move back to the turning point. So you can see how the upper body has gone towards the target. Now we'll see how he then backs out underneath it a little bit, and how his arms keep travelling in this direction towards the target. Now what we notice is that there's the butt of the club. He has got 13 degrees of shaft lean with an iron. Now this is a little bit too much, and his arms are tending to go past his body towards the target. As his head is backing away from the target, his arms continue in a linear fashion towards the target, making his effective path too far from the inside and making his struggles with the driver be the problem for his golf game.
Now we can see there the actual effect of that move is that it led to his path being too far from the inside, and he tends to do this with the driver, so this makes him quite an ineffective driver of the golf ball, because he ends up with way too much shaft lean, up to about 14 degrees. So because of the movement in the turning point, okay, and based off the fact that his head goes backwards in the transition, because his arms keep going forwards, he then has a problem getting that driver up in the air. We'll have a look at this next player.
We can see here in this backswing how the turning point remains in place to the top, and then all the way into the downswing it stays on the turning point. So there's not been a fluctuation towards the target or back away from the target, so there is no need for any hand action to square the face, because the arms and the body are working efficiently. The lower body moves towards the target, the arms are in front of the body, and the face will be delivered squarely to the ball via the pivot action. It's when you've got this fluctuating turning point that where all of the problems tend to start.
We can see there how that player turned very effectively, so they turn back as this left shoulder stretched across. They on this turning point as this left shoulder stretches across, this gets the upper body leaning away from the target, okay? So the hips will turn inside of a barrel. To stay on this turning point, that left shoulder has got to move over the inside of the right thigh. The guys who tend to stack a little and reverse towards the target here, or shift their hips away from the target in this manner, will generally lean past the turning point towards the target. What we'll then do is from here, back out of it, and then have to sling the arms, which then brings into the effect of face manipulation. Okay? So what you need to be aware of from that turning point is it's an area that you always stay on during the backswing. So you stay on it here, make a transition, staying on that turning point, to impact still on it, and from there everything rotates around to the finish here, where you only come off it up at the finish point as you move away from it. The problem is, if you're moving off that turning point, you bring too much timing into the golf swing. Very difficult to time that move if you're moving off that, because you're going to have to basically time your hands, the arms, the club to square the face. I hope you've enjoyed this short video on the turning point. If you'd like to see more from myself, please visit my website, which is danwhitakergolf.com, or send me an email at dan@danwhitakergolf.com. You can follow me on Twitter at dwhitakergolf, or like my Facebook page, which is Dan Whittaker Golf. Thanks for watching, and I hope to speak with you again soon.